प्रवर्तते नादत्ते कस्यचित् पापम् न चैव सुकृतं विभुः अज्ञानेनावृतं ज्ञानम् तेन मुह्यन्ति जन्तवः. These two shlokas are going to either radicalize our concept and understanding of that God as Ishvara, or leave us with utter sheer disappointment. Not because what the shloka is saying, just because of what we have assumed God should be defined as. So therefore, in a very technical language of understanding God, these two shlokas have been quite remarkably quoted in various scriptures as reference. So pay attention. Just before I proceed further, is this being directly telecast? Just making sure. न कर्तृत्वं न कर्माणि लोकस्य सृजति प्रभुः. Lokasya, of this creation, Srujati, the creator, Prabhuhu, the Lord. He has na kartrutvam na karmani. He neither has a responsibility nor is ordained by any actions to be held against for creating this creation. How many of you have only one child? Three people. Two kids. Hum do, hamare do. Three kids. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 kids. Maybe a generation ahead of our generation, because on just my father's side and mother's side, if all the cousins, I'm not even talking of first cousins, just the cousins, we all join, we are about 72 of us. About 35 on one side and 36 or 37 on one side. Yeah, 37 on one side. So if any festival, their, wherever they are married into their kids and they joining itself is a small gathering. So on my father's side, he had a cricket team. On my mother's side, she had a volleyball team with 2 extras. 6 plus 2. And they're huge families. Monday morning as you wake up, whatever we do, isn't it that our kids are the focus? We have created them and it is our responsibility to take care of them. Right? Now here Bhagavan is saying, with respect to this creation, I have no direct or indirect responsibility with respect to this creation. A very bold and a confusing statement that the Lord makes. Now, what does he mean by saying that he does not have any responsibility or action towards anything that is created? Whatever we create, there are consequences for our actions, for our responsibilities. How we fulfill them or how we ignore them, there are consequences. Aren't they? If the child turns out to be a monster, who is to be blamed? Of course, the child, but more than the child, it is the parents. The scriptures are quite liberal at that. They don't point at mother alone. They say parents are responsible. In fact, one particular Apastamba Sutra says the entire village. If somebody is raised to become a monster, the entire village is responsible. It's not just the parents, but it is everybody's responsibility to make sure that the child is going in the right direction. That's why when I was growing up in India, I was not scared of my parents. I was more scared of others who would make it their business to keep an eye on us. Hey, क्या कर रहे हो यहाँ पे? तुझसे क्या मतलब है यार? No, they would catch hold of my ear and take me directly. पता है? Your son, what was he doing? They were taking that responsibility. So when we do not take care of or fulfill our responsibilities, the consequences are ours. Bhagavan says, like the mortals have action, responsibilities and consequences, I am not bound by either the action nor of the consequences of this creation. Am I making it clear? Let's go step by step. Don't jump ahead of my logic. But hold on to your questions and queries and doubts. Just go step by step. Again, from the absolute standpoint that Paramatma is untouched as pure consciousness. When that Paramatma becomes the creator, he is recognized as Ishvara. It's a technical word. Ishvara means the one who has the creative surge, and he has created this amazing creation. Having created this creation, that Ishvara says, any aspect of this creation, I am not to be held responsible for that which has been created. Ajeeb baat hai. Like you create all this and now you say that you are not responsible. It's not fair. We'll come to that aspect as to why he is not responsible. Consequences do not bind him. Let me take an example. How many of you have gone to Six Flags? नहीं गए? वो जाना चाहिए, बगल में ही है. Six Flags, Universal Studio, Disneyland, Disney World. गए हो? When you go to such places, to make sure that all the rides and everything there is well maintained is the job of the one who is running that business. But what ride I take and the consequences of that ride, whose responsibility is it? Isn't it our responsibility? Does it make sense? Totally at a business perspective, if in a ride I get off feeling dizzy and I throw up, can I technically sue that Six Flags or whatever that for what I'm going through? Why not? Were they not the ones who created it? It's our choice. Based on our choice, we have gone in that ride. Nobody held us at a gunpoint to go into that ride. Isn't it? I tell you, this country has given me richness of amazing shades of experiences. Long time ago, about 8 years ago, as an adult, he throws a tantrum right in the middle of the class. And must have been quite disturbed. And he thought he could pick on me because he was disturbed. And he went to a point in saying that, I will sue you. It's part of the whole discussion. Everybody is like jaw dropped looking at him. I go first wave of shock. I said, किसी और को चुन ले to sue. I mean, that was a joke going on in my head, but I had to maintain a serious face. And like, what did you pick to choose to sue on? Like, you're not going to get any penny out of me because I am Kangal. Kya milega? What will you get? So why will you sue me? Your lectures are so caustic and inhuman. You treat us as dirt. The examples that you give, the grihastha examples that you pick, and you taunt us, and it's a traumatic experience for us to listen to your lectures. For the trauma of going through your lectures, I'm going to sue you. By then, I had already lived here for about 6+ years, 7 years. So I said, please go ahead and sue me. Nobody will stop you. But the day I get served with your sue notice, remember that I will be suing you, counter-suing you for, what do you call when somebody's good reputation is disturbed? Defamation. I'll sue you for defamation. And he's like, why would you do that? Asha, you can ask me, why would you do that? I said, you are in this hall listening. Are you bound by chain to the chair? Are we holding you on at a gunpoint to listen? If you didn't like it, the doors are open, walk out. Right? Nobody is forcing you. Similarly, when we go there to these rides, the rides are very clearly described. You get a pamphlet, leaflet, they're clearly described that it is going to give you this spin and that spin, and it is going to take you up and then drop you. I mean, not literally drop you off, but you're still in that. And especially there are these, what do you call those? Roller coasters. And they even advise, do not go on a roller coaster with full stomach. Why? कुछ तो होगा. Then you will sing, कुछ कुछ होता है. And at that point, you cannot, blame, saying that, it's all because of them. It is my choice if I have to go into that ride or not. Isn't it? Somewhere in mid path, after I have gotten into the ride, can I say, oh, stop, 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 I have to get down? Too late. I have gotten into that karma, that responsibility where I cannot withdraw myself off until it takes its course. Got married, gave birth to 2 or 3 kids. After 2 years, enough, Baba. मुझे इनसे कुछ नहीं लेना देना. No, you can't. I'm just making these examples on the fly so that you can understand that you have now signed up for the entire ride until you are completely done with your responsibility. There is no signing off. Does it make sense? It is purely based on my personal choice. As that entire world of rides have been created, this entire creation as a possibility for me to execute my choice, that creation the Creator creates. What you and I end up doing in this creation, it does not land on Him. Who does it lie on? Squarely back in our own lap. Is that clear? Therefore he says, na kartrutvam na karmani lokasya srajate prabhu. Why? Because I am not bound by any karma phala. That logic of karma having a consequence of phala, and thereby that phala ordains as to how I face my life, that does not fit me, says the Lord. That logic is not something that binds me. Na karma phala samyogam. I have created the world with its natural course of existence. Each aspect, each element of this creation has its swabhava, its nature. Fire, what is its nature? Heat and light is its nature. Whether to be burnt or to use it intelligently, the choice is ours. But the swabhava of fire, he says, I have created. Swabhava of water. What is the swabhava of water? There are 2 aspects of it. One, sapidity is its quality. Wetness is its quality. And that it quenches thirst is its quality. I was going out and without warning, suddenly it rained. I cannot go to Chitrakoot and protest a claim that I am suing Lord, that without any prior notice, after 3 hours of makeup when I stepped out, it rained. No, am I getting across? The nature and the natural elements have been given certain swabhava and they function in their swabhava. For eternity, that will function with that swabhava alone. There's not going to be a change in this, in their characteristics. Suddenly fire cannot become cold. Am I getting across? Their swabhava, that nature of that element is going to continue. There are such natural laws that abide or that keep the entire creation abiding to those natural laws. If you throw something up, what will happen? It will come down. I did not know, so I threw it. There was a balloon, it had color in it, and I threw it. And it came back again, landed on my own head. I said, Bhagwan, I already threw it up. It comes back on my head. I'll sue you again. You cannot, because there is a natural law called gravity. Right? Another example. Do you all understand electricity? What is the, how do you define electricity? Flow of electrons to the least path of resistance. How I use it is in my hands. Can I sue the inventor of electricity that you created it, therefore I am suffering because of it? I also created rules and regulations as to how you have to handle it, how you have to not handle it. And you callously attempt at holding onto a live wire. How am I liable for it? Am I getting across? This is na karma phala samyogam svabhavastu pravartate. And then he continues to say, na adatte kasyachit papam nachaiva sukrutam vibhuhu. I do not borrow any punya from anybody, nor I borrow any papa from anybody. This is where I want your complete undivided attention. He does not borrow or partake in anybody's punya, nor partakes with anybody's papa. Who does the papa and punya belong to? The individual. It's a very powerful statement being made. What is the Lord trying to say here? I call these two shlokas as the, what do you call this? Disclaimer? Disclaimer of the Lord. Oh, bold print. Oh यार, वहां से भी दिखेगा. Bold print. In his creation, there is no fine print. I do not partake in anybody's punya, nor I partake in anybody's papa. Meaning the papa punya belongs to that individual alone. So whatever I do in the name of God, whether I do good, whether I do bad, Bhagwan says, मुझे उससे कुछ नहीं लेना देना. I have got nothing directly or indirectly with your karma. Are you understanding the repercussions of it? What is confusing?
It's confusing in the sense God says that I don't have anything to do with it. But God only understood that what everything.
No, again,
So let's take
step by step. Don't compare it with the different standpoints. Here he is talking as a creator. As a creator, what he is trying to say, that your life, your actions, the consequences of punya or papa I have got nothing to do with it. You alone have to bear with it. As a jiva, you have entertained that particular action, whether you have done good actions, bad actions, or you're apathetic, indifferent, the consequences will be corresponding to that particular mode of operation. It is not that Bhagavan likes somebody, therefore favors in giving certain results, does not like somebody, therefore gives different unfavorable results. Therefore, I cannot blame that why does God seem to punish good people and seem to be like the bad people are enjoying their life. Why does God create such an uneven, imbalanced creation? Bhagavan says, read the shloka again. Na adatte kasyachit papam na chaiva sukritam vibhuhu. I neither partake in anybody's papa nor punya, nor do I do any kind of favoritisms. How many of you chant or know Gayatri mantra? थोड़ा जोर से उठाइए ना, पता तो चले. Very good. How many of you chant Gayatri mantra regularly? Where is Gayatri mantra on this globe maximum chanted? A default, I would say India. I don't know. I would guess. Gayatri mantra, one of the Upasya Deva, who is it invoking? Surya Deva, right? Because I am chanting, does he shower special rays on me? And because others neglect him, don't thank him, don't pray to him, he spends only UV rays to them? I do Pavamana Sukta, invoking the blessings of wind god. So he brings all oxygen, air only to me, and all carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide to others. ऐसा कुछ होता है? हाँ ना कुछ. Very good. Na adatte kasyachit papam na chaiva sukritam vibhuhu. There is no favoritisms. Whatever are the results are purely because of my actions and the intentions and intensities behind those actions that ordain the results and consequences. What kind of intentions and intensities require what kind of results, that he as a creator has created a natural law. And that law is unbreakable. Who invented electricity? Kaun? Edison. Okay. So can I go give, special treat and special meals and special perks to Edison and say, electricity ka shock hai na, so band kar de mere liye. Can he do it? He says, that is not in my hands. Electricity has its natural law. You fall according to the law and use it to your own benefit. Similarly, the karma and the law of karma, that it has consequences, God does not mess with our actions and the consequences thereof. Why doesn't God eradicate all these things? Why doesn't God interfere? We have questions, right? भगवान है तो अभी दिखता क्यों नहीं है? Why doesn't he give? In its due course, Baba. Now, if this is understood, then let us go to his layer of confusion. In the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which was the last chapter, he had said, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami. You know, B.R. Chopra. Yuge, yuge. I somehow managed to get that pitch in the right time. Where he says, Paritranaya sadhunam. To protect the sadhu. Vinashaya cha dushkritam. And to punish the wrongdoers. Dushkritam. If somebody wears gloves while handling electricity, insulated gloves, what do those insulated gloves do? Paritranaya sadhuna. If somebody works with a live wire with wet hands, dushkritam. What will happen? It will have immediate. Right? So where at that shloka when he is saying that I take care of, what is he taking care of? The creation with its natural laws I created so that those who adhere to the natural laws implicitly, they get naturally protected. Right? And those who callously participate with it and do not adhere to the natural law, they may be doing japa, as they show in movies. That fellow is an ardent devotee, does a lot of japa, puja, tapas, and then comes back, does all wretched things, unrighteous things. You think it's going to protect them? Did I share with you as to one time when I had my life-changing electric shock experience? See, back in India, while we are working with electricity or the electric wires, it's only later that I realized that you have to use the pliers to remove the insulation on the wire. Most of you, when you are in India, did you use pliers to remove that insulation? How many of you tried the... So I'm not the only one. I'm not the weird one out. So back in the days when I was in school, I was responsible for the PA system, to operate it for the entire school assembly and things like that. Got about 6-7 months training and I was given the job. It was the annual day and there was a lot of activity happening. And one of these little kids, while going onto the stage, tripped over a wire, which was just about 4 minutes before the main chief guest was to deliver the whatever speech. Though the kids would have preferred if I had not repaired it. Another boring lecture, who wants to listen to? They would have congratulated me at the end. But me, I have to do my job. And little did I realize that the wire that was sticking out, I did not pay attention. And I put that wire in my mouth to remove the insulation. And when I woke up, I was in the hospital. For 3 days, my tongue was swollen. I couldn't move, talk, speak. And they say it was quite a nasty one, and they were even surprised as to how I got lucky to be alive. Short circuited most of the main wiring there. I had a हिंदी में कहते हैं तगड़ा experience. Amazing experience, right? If somebody were like me, dushkrutam, not just touching with wet hand, directly in the mouth. And while keeping it in the mouth, Om Electriaye Namaha, Om Electriaye Namaha, and I bite it. Do you think electricity is going to spare me? Because somewhere we have a disconnect in our understanding and in our day-to-day practices, that we say, oh, I have been such a good devotee. I did all the stotra, I did all the chanting, I did all the naivedya. I went to the Tirtha Kshetra. Did it change my perspective as to how I change my actions, motives behind the actions, and the intentions and intensities? Without changing that, just doing these externalities, do you think it is going to protect me? Just because I have been chanting that stotra or this stotra? To be in all fairness, should it be protecting me? If you have done something wrong, should your parents be punishing you or should they be praising you and protecting you? A good parent. If your school calls you for a meeting, the principal, vice principal, and that subject teacher call, and there's a meeting, and you both standing there as parents, and this is what your child has done. You would first try to understand if there is a fault, and if it is quite evident that there is fault, what would you do as a parent? Whatever you seem fit for him as a punishment, we will be happy to support you. If you don't, then we will take certain measures to make sure कि ये नालायक ऐसे फिर से नहीं करेगा. Yes. Every action has a consequence, and he does not meddle with those consequences. Now suddenly we get disenchanted. Then why do puja? Why do this kind of mantra japa when it is not going to protect? Right? Fair question. Because these mantras, pujas, japa, they're not going to change that natural law. Then why at all do it? It's a waste affair. Having an altar and standing there doing arti for. That is why as a child I never used to attend these pujas and artis. Because it didn't make sense to me at that time. And the second thing was they were very long. Especially the arati. All the naivedya is offered, it is right there, you can see it, but you cannot touch it until the long arati is finished. Especially the Jai Jagadisha Hari. Because there are about 3 versions of it. And when one starts one version, there are others who add those extra other version also and make it longer than ever. तेरा तुझको अर्पण बोल दिया ना अब लाओ नहीं आगे जय जय it goes on and on and on. So there's no meaning for this pujas anymore. So my question to you, why do puja, why do any japa, why do entertain any kind of mantra or chanting, why at all do when it is not going to change or bring an impact? The question समझ में आया ना?
Help you heal, well, help you understand better what happened, and just to come up with a way to deal with what happened, perhaps in a more positive way, and it will help train your mind, calm your mind, help keep your mind focused so that when whatever consequence happens, you can put it in the right perspective, deal with it, learn from it, and help you out.
Anybody else? I mean, there's a point in there, and I'll sum it up later. Little louder, please. A positive hope. There is no hope, is what is the shloka saying? Do you understand the answers that you are giving? Prayers, puja, japa are not meant for exchange offer. That I do this many counts of mantra, exchange it for my bad karma. That is what we legally go and do. I have done something wrong and it is haunting me. Okay, एक पूजा करा ले, सब ठीक हो जाएगा. No, it is not an exchange offer. What do these prayers, puja and japa do? It will not change the consequences or results. But what it will do is provide the mind and intellect through which I have to face those consequences, a stabler environment, a focused environment, a sturdier, stronger environment with which I can handle it better. Does it make sense? If I go to that Lord with a worshipful attitude, expecting my consequences to be suddenly changed, it ain't gonna happen. One of my friends, a very dear friend of mine, used to be working in the Siddhi Vinayak temple in Bombay. So when I met him, it was over a dinner. So one of my questions for him was, when is the maximum crowd in that temple? So I thought it was Ganesh Chaturthi. So he said, no, Ganesh Chaturthi is not that much crowd. I said, when else? Before exams also I can understand. The crowd is higher the day before when the results are being announced. And we are going with wrong expectations, wrong understanding. The night before the results are going to, what are you expecting God to do? That he goes there to those answer papers or things and then changes all the results? वो काली करतूत करवाने के लिए गए थे तुम्हारी तो. That's a wrong expectation, an expectation that will never be fulfilled. What is a prayer meant for? A prayer is meant for streamlining my equipment to face my life better. One. Prayer is meant for understanding that Lord as a Ishvara and his prowess better. Therefore, the prayer. To re-educate my own mind as to how this whole thing works. Not for a sudden magic. That all night long I prayed and suddenly in the morning my bad karma has become good karma. Oh, believe me, I pray a lot. But the quality of my students in my class doesn't change. Do you know who I was taking a hit at? Oh, it has always been best. Haji? Prasad. Oh, that I offer to the Lord. See, if I am worshipping you as the Lord, then I would offer there also. These wrong understandings and wrong perspectives have to be wiped out. Therefore, these two shlokas. That I am responsible for my actions and the consequences thereof. Having done my activity callously, suddenly by invoking the Lord, good will not become bad, bad will not suddenly miraculously turn to become good. Whatever I have sown as my karma seed will evolve itself as the phala, the result of my karma. Therefore, every slightest bit of action that I perform, thought, word and deed, has to be meticulously thought through. Cannot be a flippant action, cannot be a callous participation. Therefore, understanding Karma Yoga as my complete responsibility, because I cannot get off this ride because I don't like it right now. We don't have that choice. We have to ride until it takes its full course. Therefore, every single action, every thought, word and deed has to be meticulously thought through. I cannot impress more as to the seriousness of this particular statement. Even if by mistake I entertain certain thoughts of negativity, it is going to come back 100 folds back to me, because that is what I have sown. When you sow a seed as a crop, how many come out? A lot. Similarly, every thought, every word, and these, we have invented these words, they mean a squat. We do something, we say something, and then we say, sorry. Dude, sorry doesn't cut it. Now, many of us have to be taught first to be sorry as well. Don't misinterpret this shloka that don't need to say sorry. What it is trying to say is, do such actions wherein you don't require to be in a position of saying sorry, that you have done things so carefully. Otherwise, it will be like one of my first experiences explaining Ramayana. After telling Ramayana, I said, so which character did you like the most? So this kid, all enthused, this is like in front of all their parents, and it's like the final day of conclusion of that camp. So this kid, oh, I loved Ravana. All Ramayana given, and you end up interpreting Ravana as the character. The whole purpose is lost. So don't misinterpret saying that, oh, today's lecture was amazing. Swamiji said Bhagavad Gita approves that we should not be saying sorry to anyone. That is not what I am trying to say. Do actions so carefully that you never have to regret about them later. And that every action, however small, their consequences are mine alone to bear. I may not like it, but I have to go through it. Now relate to that sudden prarabdha that everybody seemed to have gotten, and everybody is pouring out their emotions in every possible media or social media out there. How could this happen? Do you know what I'm talking about? How could this happen? The total number of votes won are higher by Hillary than what the electoral, what do you call that? Electoral college system. This ain't fair. When you started the game, you have one rule, and suddenly at the end of it, you don't like the result, you change the rules. I'm not talking about the candidates and their character. I'm talking about karma and its effect. So somebody trying to explain the majority votes and the electoral college, how does it work? I said in a tennis game, if somebody is, two players are playing, and if the score is 6-0, 6-0, 6-5, 6-5, 6-5, the total number of points won by the one losing is higher than the one who has won. But still, what was the rule of the game when you started? Each set by itself and its points. And each one of us participated. Knowing very well what the results will be. Isn't it? And many of us, I know many of us chose not to participate because, oh, I don't agree with any of them. Your vote, your choice matters. And now crying foul after everything has gone by is like those kids going to Ganesh temple just before the results are announced, Nothing is going to happen now. So stop crying foul when life happens. It is a consequence of my own participation or refraining myself from participating. It's direct result of that. Am I getting across? Wow, Bhagwan, how he chose to arrange, sequence these two shlokas right after elections. Wow. Until the last moment, I did not realize that I could connect it that way. शाबाश, बहुत पसंद आ गया. I'm in awe right now. That's a good connection. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha Hari Om.